The battle roars, but this war is more than what it was before. It's for tomorrow, for every spark, for Cybertron and the light in the dark. Transformers, robots in disguise. Transformers, more than meets the eye. Transformers, from dark to light. Transformers, hear the call. Transformers, stand for all. From the ashes we rise again. For Cybertron, for
And now, through the magic of the Cybernet Space Cube, the computer-enhanced podcast of the future, Transformers Slag Podcast.
What's up, everybody? How we all doing? Saturday night. It's Transformers Slag Podcast Saturday Night Live Stream Main Event. I'm your host, Protoman. I'm the face that runs this place. I'm the voice you hear Monday to Friday. It is Saturday, and I'm actually joined early today by Butters. Hey, Butters, why don't you go say hi to everybody? Ugh. The big white boy. The white cat, black cat. Today we're joined by the white cat, who has tons of hair everywhere. How we all doing? So it is the Transformers Slag Podcast. We're going to talk Transformers today. We're going to talk the news. We're going to talk rumors. We're going to talk some reveals. We got a lot to cover tonight. We're going to take some questions from the fans, and man, couldn't escape it. Even while about to go live, some stuff related to my comic book went live with absolutely no notification. So we're going to have a lot to talk about, and hopefully with 10% less cat hair. We'll try with that. So, who's in the chat? Who is in the chat? Let's get to the second screen here. We got Fawnheart. How you doing, Fawnheart? Oh, there goes Butters. Going to cause some trouble. We got Fawnheart. We got Navio. How you doing? Link CW, one of my patrons. We got the Twins. What's up, Twins? I'll be seeing you soon. James, how you doing? Young, what's up? Cringe McCringle, one of my patrons. We got Bruticus of 42. We got, who else? I want to make sure I'm Patrick Brown, what's up? Will Murphy, how you doing? Victory Slaw is here also. Big Bot Bodega, how you doing, my man? Who else do we got? Tom Laney, T-Formers 2002, one of our double dippers. Brainstorm 2002, another one of our double dippers. Ron Schilling, I hope I don't miss nobody. Everyone is coming in. Ashnud, how you doing? I think I got everybody more or less. If I missed anybody, just give me a yo. Give me an yo. So, we got a lot to cover, a lot to talk about, this and that, and then some. So, where do we even begin with this? Man, oh man. Where do we even begin? So, we'll start first, of course, with this guy here. So, as predicted, we have Scourge here. That was the next of the Target exclusive Warner Meets the Eye collection, Transformers the Movie, Studio Series, 86 Voyager Class, Transformers Generation 1, Scourge. And yeah, he came. He had 10% stock on Hasbro Pulse. That took about less than 24 hours. It took about, I'd have to say, like 19 hours to sell out on Hasbro Pulse. And he is still available as of this live stream on Target's website, still up for pre-order, did not sell out. So if you somehow did not get Scourge, here is your opportunity. You got this and everything. My mic sounds terrible. Really? What happened? And it's back to normal. What happened there? I swear, maybe it was some cat interference. That's weird. Very bizarre. Might be because we have a storm going on out there, although it's not that bad. It's just absolutely freezing cold here in Canada. So the storm hasn't hit completely yet, but I hope it won't affect the live stream. Sounded like Soundwave. Well, if I could sound like Frank Welker, I think I'd be off on a good tangent. Thank you, Princeton, for the super chat. Maybe the good vibes of the super chat brought us back. Mr. Roboto. I love Roboto from He-Man. Might as well talk about that afterwards, too. We got some non-Transformer related news to talk about also. Quite a few things happened over the last week. Yeah, maybe the cat hair got into the microphone. Either way. So yeah, so Scourge is up. Scourge is up. If you haven't gotten Scourge, he's out there and still available for pre-order. Not much really I could say other than if you didn't get him, here's an opportunity to get him at MSRP. Although granted, we're seeing through these Target exclusives the newer MSRP price point going into 2026. The new Voyager class price point, the new price point for the deluxe class, and so on and so forth. So 2026 is going to be a little pricey for Transformers, but I mean it's been a nonstop upward rise since 2020, and it's been quite unprecedented in a lot of ways. And not much I could really say about that, other than we'll probably get into some of the business side of stuff that's going on after all of this here tonight on the podcast. Because, yeah, behind the scenes, more people I don't want to get too deep into it right now. I'll get into it later, but a lot of people aren't seeing the trees within the woods. Let's put it that way. Some of the discussions and arguments and everything, I don't know. I do not know. We'll get into it after. But so yeah, so here's Scourge, and there's that. So yeah, I got Butters' hair all over my face. Then of course, now with Scourge being revealed. So next Tuesday, Transformer Tuesday, on the 27th of January, we'll be getting that leader class priced Optimus Prime. That's the Commander class price point. Now, we had a leak of an image of one of his accessories with the figure, and it's that of the dangerous piece of the Autobot city that went into Optimus's admin. I could speak today. Ugh. His stomach, and led to his untimely death through Energon bleed out. But so yeah, there's that. Well, obviously, next week we're going to see it just in a couple days, really. But the 27th is going to be quite a packed day for a lot of reveals, not just on this Target exclusive, but quite a few other items, which we'll get into later today. A lot of stuff. And Cringe McCringle has become a double dipper. Welcome back, Cringe, and be sure to check out Cringe's videos. He's doing a lot of good reviews. He did a review on Blackout from Animated just recently. Good stuff. We got this also. So YOLO Park, the simplistic model kit. I mean, they call them model kits, but I mean, they're even easier than a blocky in a lot of ways. They're just kind of like action figure with mild assembly. And they revealed that they're going to be doing some Beast Wars stuff in the near future in their YOLO Park AMK line. This is their Beast Wars Dinobot that's going to be 8 inches tall, come with blast effects. We'll have his spinning Dino Blade weapon, Choppa Face. He's going to have his sword, which can also be plugged into the Dino Choppa Face blade. He's going to have an insane amount of articulation. Even his mouth is going to be articulated, ab crunch, all kinds of different pieces and stuff. Looks awesome. This is something that, again, if you own the Masterpiece one and you know how intricate and crazy the Masterpiece Dinobot is, it's something where you transform it into robot mode and then you go, all right, I'm good. And I'll be honest, even my own Masterpiece Dinobot, I'm looking at him right now, he's seen Dino mode only once because of just how much of a headache he is to transform. But he's extremely screen accurate, and I love it. So something like this that could be extremely screen accurate, come with a lot of extras, be super articulated, 8 inches tall. I mean, that Dinobot is, I'd have to say about the Masterpiece is about 10 to 11 inches, maybe 10 inches, maybe 11, giggity. But this looks great. This looks really hype, and I'm honestly tempted by it, even though I have Masterpiece stuff that kind of already fill the void. But they also say here that they're going to be doing an Optimus Primal, a Beast Wars Megatron, and a Black Arachnia. So that's going to be hype as hell. And making Dinobot this tall also definitely implies to me that they're going to be doing a really good scaling. So Dinobot's going to be one of the taller ones, as he should be. He's easily one of the tallest characters of the Beast Wars crew, not counting guys like Rampage and Depth Charge. But, you know, and then Optimus Primal, Beast Wars Megatron. Like, if they come out anywhere as good as the robot modes of the Masterpieces with blast effects and stuff, then they're going to be just incredible go-tos. I'm really curious how the paint deco budget's going to be with these. You know, Dinobot has a lot of intricate dino patterns and details for the Velociraptor, so we will see. We will see, but very excited about this. We don't have a price yet. We don't have a release date yet. This is just a prototype that was shown along with a video. And the video just pretty much shows just how crazy articulated this guy is. So we'll check that out in the near future, and you know I'll be talking about it. And then we got this video here. So they are coming this Transformer Tuesday to your McDonald's, at least in the United States, select areas in Canada, and a limited assortment in Asia, from what I've heard thus far. But coming to a McDonald's near you, the McChangteables, aka the Changeables, are back. Debuted in 1988, 39 years ago, and were extremely successful, and would go on to spawn 2 more waves over 1989 and 1990. And man, oh man, it is so hyped to see the McChangeables make the grand return. They look really cool. And I mean, they're just giving off some major BotBots energy. But at the same time, on top of the BotBots energy, they look like they're going to be the classic McChangeable size, which is pretty cool, if judging if the video with that hand in it is any indication. And again, here's the whole assortment. All 16 of them with their character names, even some promo material that looks like a Bots cartoon style almost. And this is exciting. This is exciting because it's kind of crazy. We've had quite a few Transformer fast food promotions in the past couple of years. And when I mean the past couple of years, I mean the past like decade and a half. And nothing transformed. Like, we had so much Transformer fast food merchandise that never even transformed in the past decade and a half. Like, I mean, I'm looking all the way back to like Transformers Prime. Like, that's how far back we're going. And it was always just static figures, non-transformable, gimmick-based. And now we're back at it, man. And they look great. And the paint decos look great. And it's almost so different than what McDonald's toys are, and it was confirmed by McDonald's head marketer that these are just going to be available in the normal kids meal. They're not going to be like a premium item that you have to buy an adult kids meal for like $8 extra to get a blind pack toy or something. This is legit going to be in a Happy Meal with kids. So this is really cool. And again, like the originals back in the day were pretty large. They weren't like, BotBot sized. And this is actually my childhood one that I've had since the 80s. of the Big Mac. Just show him there. He was my Alpha Trion when I was a kid. I used to pretend he was Alpha Trion. And then this is my Fry Force that I had as a kid. And it's so cool to just get like updated versions of these characters, especially guys like Fry Force and Quarter Pound C1 getting an update, and Hot Cakesosaurus, which is now the Furgon, which is now a hamburger. Some of them obviously had to change their alt modes a little bit, but the spirit of them is still there. Very cool. Very, very cool. I know I've been ranting about these all week, just loving it. See what I did there? But man, that's really exciting. And again, the fact that it's not the premium stuff, that was my biggest worry. My biggest worry was, we had that with the Kevin Frost McNuggets. We had that with the Minecraft adult meals, where it's like, oh, you want like good McDonald's toys? Okay, we're going to charge extra and separately, and we're going to do blind boxes because we know how much people love blind boxes now. And they're not going to do that, which is fantastic. Just buy a kid's meal, get yourself some nuggets, some apple slices, and a drink, and a little transforming robot to hang out on your desk and judge you. But it's great, man. This is fantastic. So stoked about this. And again, this starts also Transformer Tuesday. January 27th is when the first wave of these will drop. We don't know how many characters will be in a wave. This is going to go over 6 weeks. So the assumption it's going to be like 2.5 characters a wave. And they'll probably it's probably going to be 3 figures in a case. And it'll probably be in the order of the numbering shown here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because usually when they number stuff like this, because this image here, by the way, comes from the manager print form. So that's probably the order of who's going to be available per case. Again, I have this experience from working at Burger King back in the day, and like how you would roll out the assortments, what day you have to roll it out, all that kind of silliness. And then people coming in wanting to buy the entire case. We had toy scalpers for fast food toys back in the day. I remember, we'll have a little story here. I remember when there was a few different promotions. We had Justice League. Remember the old Justice League cartoon? We had the Batman week, because every week was a new character. And the week that we had Batman came with an articulated figure and the bat signal behind him if you wanted. Like, it was this really cool little figurine. And a guy came in and he was like, I want to buy the entire 300 figure case of your Batmans. And I remember my boss was like, we'll let you do that, but you have to buy food for every figure. And the guy obviously refused. My boss was crazy. Who's gonna buy like 300 Burger King kids meals just to get 300 Batman figures, which I guarantee today are not worth any money, but back then he thought it was. And then we had Burger King was unique because they also had chase figures. Like during the Simpsons movie, we had the golden homers. Like, you could look these up. There was in every case of 300 figures, there was 4 golden homers in them. During the Star Wars Episode 3 movie, there was a breathing Darth Vader figure that was 4 per case. Crazy stuff. And you could guess who got all of those. Let's just say I ain't no fool, and I work at Burger King, so I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get my hands on those. But so that's really awesome. These are really, really cool. And it's just man, it's nice to see transforming figurines, because Transformers has just been totally shafted over the past couple of years when it comes to, it's always just gimmick based stuff. It would be like a hollow figurine. And, some of them were kind of cool. Like, they did a Windblade that was in an SD style, but they were all gimmick based. None of them were actual Transformers. None of them were made with good ABS or PVC plastic. They were made with a hollow kind of MABS plastic, keeping it cheap. These look like they're going to be amazing. I'm stoked. I am so stoked. I can't stress it enough. You're probably going to see me posting images and comparisons to the past and all that kind of stuff in the near future. But yeah, check that out, yo. Check that out. And that's it more or less for the news. There wasn't much else outside of that. There has been listings that have been popping off everywhere, but the source that it comes from, I do not trust right now, and it's the weekend. So let's just say certain people at the Ivory Towers at Rhode Island are not there to confirm it for me. So I'm going to wait till Monday before I talk about any of that stuff. I don't like talking about news that's speculative too much. That just leads to clickbait and all kinds of silliness, and that's not like what we like to do here. I'll leave that for all the other content creators who trick you into watching a video you didn't need to watch. But, no shade at all. But yeah, so that's it more or less for the news. Tom Laney, didn't most of the Happy Meal toys become solid plastic without gimmicks and articulation? Yeah, I mean, I'm looking. You can barely see it off camera, but like this is like my Transformers Prime display is on the bottom here, and like the Transformer Prime figures are like it's an Optimus with a flip out sword, it's a Bumblebee with a popping up arm that shoots, it's a bulkhead that shoots something, it's a spinning arm, breakdown. It's like none of them transform, and this continued on. I think the last time they did decent transforming figures was animated. The animated ones transformed. Those were pretty good too, and they even had some European exclusives like Blitzwing. During Cybertron, they did transforming toys. During Energon in Europe, they did transforming toys. During Armada, they did some great transforming toys. It really ended with Transformers Prime. And so that would have to be like, those probably came out in like 2010-ish. And it's kind of sad when like the Kinder Egg toys had more of a transforming nature than even the McDonald's ones, which are like, little Kinder Eggs are candy toys. So it is what it is. It is what it is, unfortunately. It really was what it was. But let's see what else. We got some stuff today. None of it was Transformer related. I went to a Gundam meetup today, not today, but I went to a Gundam meetup last Sunday and picked up. I want to give a shout out to Operation V in Montreal. They're a new Gundam store, so I went to a Gundam meetup there and picked up the Tri Burning Gundam. I love Build Fighters Tri, although I'm more of a Gyanko simp. If you know, you know. Giggity. But yeah, I picked that up, and then I was gifted by my buddies over there, specifically Asmare and the crew. They all went to Japan, and they picked me up a statuette of Mega Man, specifically the Mega Man 11 design. I actually opened it up here. I'll show it to you. And a nice little statuette. It's pretty big, these things. They're very cool. Yeah. So I got a little nice Mega Man 11 statue there for now. It'll go in the video game room. So thank you to those guys for that awesome gift. And I think those were from like the Gashapon Claw stuff, like Bampesto and everything, because on the box here, it has the Sega logo. And if it has the Sega logo, that means it's probably one of the Sega claw machines. That's usually the case. It was either that or Bampesto back in the day, too. They were another one that would have that kind of stuff. Because, Sega and Mega Man, not a very good history. But yeah. Yeah. What else? Tom Laney. Yeah, man, like those McDonald's ones, man, the recent ones were just not good. So it's just something where it's nice to see some good high quality, transfer. And again, they're not like high fidelity quality transformations. We're talking BotBots level transformation, but for something that's free with a French fry and a Coke, sign me up. Sign me up. Let's just go into we're going to go into some sponsorship stuff I do want to cover too, because there is some new stuff from Mr. Archer and beyond. So first let's talk Symbiote Studios, plush pins and t-shirts. San Diego Comic-Con is not too far away, but even closer is TFCon LA. And TFCon LA is going to have Symbiote Studios there, a nice big old booth. I'm going to be there with them. And there's going to be some reveals. There's going to be some new product. There's going to be some stuff exclusive to the show until the Monday. So, if you want to get the complete set of the Dinobots, specifically with Swoop, who will be debuting at the show, it's going to be hype. Again, guys, last time Symbiote Studios did TFCon LA, they sold out of all their inventory. So, if you're doing TFCon LA and this stuff interests you, I'm going to say this again, probably beeline for the Symbiote Studios booth first. And then you could see the rest of the show afterwards. All the other stuff ain't going nowhere. But that one, I'd keep an eye out for it. And of course, all their other stuff. My Little Pony. Magic the Gathering, which I want all of those. Those are amazing. And then some. Check that out, symbiotestudios.com. But if not, I'll see you at TFCon LA at the Symbiote Studios booth. Then, of course, we got the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. We have a new segment on its way, so stay tuned for that. That's going to be happening very, very soon. But Aaron put up some new Posca paintings on his website, archermonster.com/shop. We got some new ones here. We got a Nemesis Prime. We got a Soundwave. There was an absolutely gorgeous Ichon that disappeared in 5 seconds. So, again, check them out, archermonster.com/shop. Do not sleep on these. When they are gone, they are gone. They are one-of-a-kind pieces made by Aaron Archer, painted on the original 20 to 30-year instructions. Get them while you can. Get them while you can. Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Just do it. And then, of course, also, go to your local comic store right now, and my issue, Mega Man number 0, is out, written by me, drawn by Chamba, and all the different covers of all different people from the walks of life of Street Fighter and Transformers and G.I. Joe. We just revealed on my Twitter, might as well say it publicly now, so Marcello Materi, Hall of Famer of Transformers, box artist supreme, has worked on a cover for my book and will be available in March. Go check that out on Twitter. We'll do the update next week and we'll show you it here on the pod. But Marcelo has now joined the crew of people working on the Mega Man books that all have Transformer pasts. So thank you for Marcelo for joining us and making an awesome cover that suggests to something in the story. Because a lot of our covers don't always suggest what's going on in the book, but Marcelo's does, so that's awesome. So check that out. And of course, if you could get your hands on it, I know I've heard from a lot of different comic book stores that this is sold out in person in stores, but still available to be sold on Udon Entertainment's website to pick up. But the Mega Man's Transformer cover, I think, is only available online now. So if you want to get that, that'll be your only way to get it because the orders in person have sold out at all your local comic shops. And next month, February 18th, New Comic Book Wednesday, Mega Man X issue number 1, the Storm Eagle story, written by me and art by the awesome Hanzo Steinbach, will be dropping. There's all the covers available for the time being. There is others coming, but you have choices, even if you want a blank cover. So I could sketch absolutely nothing on it except maybe Proto Man because that's all I could really draw. So check that out. Very cool stuff. Pre-orders are available right now on udonentertainment.com and your local comic book store. You could go into your local comic book store and go, hey, yo, I want these comics. And they'll gladly order it for you. And of course, in May, Free Comic Book Day will be coming where I'm going to be writing a Proto Man story. So check that out too. And next verse, I know you were going to ask this. So it has been announced as of yesterday. Blockies has been, and keep in mind, this has been like kind of known within the creative community, but Blockies will be making Mega Man stuff in the near future. You will be seeing it 100% publicly on Transformer Tuesday, actually. On January 27th, they will be revealing the very first wave of Mega Man Blockies, so stay tuned for that. And I think it's a match made in heaven because Blockies are very easy to manufacture and they come in cases of 9. So when you think about it, think about a Mega Man boss grid. I wish I could probably just use my comic here, my first issue. But think about a Mega Man boss grid, how it has the 9 slots, right? So you could easily do every single game's Robot Masters and then a special Mega Man for the 9th figure. So even Mega Man 6 that technically only had like 6 people, you know, they then recently they made Time Man, they made, you know, Oil Man. So that puts it up to that. It'll give you the 8 Robot Masters, and the 9th could be a Mega Man. And then when they do Mega Man 2, the 9th could be a Mega Man in Metallic, or it could be a Proto Man, or it could be a Roll. So it really lends itself to that, where each wave could be a Mega Man game. And as crazy as this sounds, this brand has been around for 40 years, and there is a ton of iconic characters that have never, ever, 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 ever gotten a figure. It's crazy. Not a PVC, not a articulated figure, not a model kit, no nothing. They're like Mega Man 2 and Mega Man 3, which are two of the most iconic Mega Man games. So many of those characters have never seen plastic form in any shape. And that's effing wild. Metal Man. Metal Man. Everyone knows Metal Man. Everyone fights Metal Man first because he has the best weapon. Never got a figure in any shape or form. What is going on? You know? So that is something to stay tuned. Again, this Transformer Tuesday is going to be a lot of reveals between all of that other stuff. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Looking forward to that. Can't really say much else, but stay tuned for that. Very cool stuff. And again, don't be scared of blockies. Anyone who's built a blocky knows they are not complicated to make. They are not complicated to put together. Even the most ham-fisted, all-thumbs person could put a blocky together. And I find that the Mega Man ones are even easier to put together than even the Transformer ones. So it's something to really look forward to. Really, really look forward to. So stay tuned for that. That's all I could say right now, but Transformer Tuesday, it'll be there. So that's a really hype one. Really, really hype one. Will blockies go the same route as Funko Pop? Seeing blockies are getting rights to everything. Well, again, there's a little bit of a difference between blockies and Funko Pop in that blockies only focus on licenses that they feel they could make money from that have popular, proven licenses. And unlike Funko Pop, blockies are made, they're produced, designed, and sold in the same country of origin, meaning it's all done in China. Everything is done internally. Where, number one, blockies ain't making, Golden Girls blockies and all kinds of, and The Office and all kinds of wacky brands. They're doing proven brands, Funko Pop is doing stuff that doesn't even make sense. Some stuff that won't make money will just be sitting in landfills. So it's a little different. It's just, if anything, Blockies is no different than any other mid-tier to high-tier toy company that they're just getting licenses to stuff that are popular. You can't say there's anything that Blockies has the license to isn't a big franchise that still today generates income. So that's kind of the way that I would see it. And I mean, they're making a lot of really good stuff. It's all very affordable, very cheap, and man, and great stuff. What's up, Aaron? And Scourge is gone? And Scourge is gone. Scourge is gone. So the update, third guy from the top there, Scourge has been sold. That's what always happens. We always put this up and then it sells. But yeah, again, I look very forward to what they're going to do with Mega Man because the canvas and the opportunities and the turnaround is way easier than that of the other toy companies like a Jada, like a Jazzware and beyond. So I'm very excited about it. I've already seen some stuff and it looks really good, and just stay tuned. It's going to be this Transformer Tuesday will be the reveal, and it'll be all over the socials, and I'll post it too, so just follow me on and you'll see it. You'll see it. Tom Laney, love blockies and cheap, but licensing can't be cheap. Well, here's the thing. Licensing also could be expensive, but that's when you just don't take on 1 million licenses. The thing is, people think that blockies has a lot. They don't really. They have what? They have the Muppet Creature Factory, which is, all the stuff going on with Jim Henson brands, whether it be the Muppets or Sesame Street. They got Saint Seiya, they got Ultraman, they got Transformers. What else? They got there's not a lot, there's a few others I'm forgetting, and that's it. And the thing is that a license doesn't really hurt you that much when you're selling hand over fist product. When your product is so cheap that people are willing to buy cases and cases of it, and then, like I told you, go to TFCon, the old blocky parties. People buy a case of 9, they all take one, and then they build it together in a circle in the hallways or whatever. Like, people love it. Common Rider, thank you. Minion, they did Minions ones. That ones I must have missed. But again, Minions. Again, they take the brands that print money. It wouldn't surprise me if they would do something like when it was popular, like K-pop Demon Hunter or stuff, or they go for brands that have a proven audience that clearly will do well. They're not just going for the weird deep cuts. Hey, people really like Friends. People really like The Office. Let's do that. So we will see what comes of it, but let's just say it's looking good, and it's a perfect format for it. It's like such a perfect format for it. So stay tuned for that. But what else was in the news? So the one thing that a lot of people were messaging me about and asking me to talk about on the podcast, but I just wanted to when the news broke, I wanted to get more information professionally about it and what's going on. And this is something that is not even related to Transformers, even though it's within the Hasbro atmosphere of, well, let's call it the chronosphere of Hasbro. Doug Bowser is now on the board of directors for Hasbro. Now, I've been reading a lot of different things that people were saying, and people were asking me a lot of different questions about it. Here's the thing. The board of directors of Hasbro, in general, don't mean anything in terms of the true decision making. I don't want to throw shade at her, but I just want to remind you guys, one of the board of directors of Hasbro was a former CEO and president of the WNBA for 6 years when they lost $14 to $20 million, and they still do. And she's still on there. The board of directors doesn't do anything. They make money. They sit around, and once in a while they decide who's going to be the new CEO. But they don't really make decisions. And Doug Bowser, I know why he was brought in. And it has nothing to do with Transformers, and it has everything to do with Magic the Gathering. And that's all I'm going to say. It's just more of the cardboard crack and the Magic the Gathering world that, I hate to say it, is holding up the entire company. Transformers does well, but a lot of other stuff, unfortunately, probably is doing okay to breaking even. And when you have those brands that are okay to breaking even, that's where Magic the Gathering comes in and goes, oh, don't worry about it, I got you, bro. We're just cardboard, and people are paying thousands of dollars for our cardboard that cost us nothing. So Doug Bowser was brought in for more of that stuff, and it's not going to change anything for Transformers at all. One thing that I constantly have to reiterate when it comes to the Transformers brand, as opposed to everything else done in that company in Rhode Island, is Transformers is a shared partnership with Takara Tomy. Transformers has a very difficult time of being planned, engineered, and functioning without that partnership. That's how it always has been. And it's not just Transformers, it's some of the other brands too that are under there too, like Beyblade, for example. There's always a reactionary thing. Has Hasbro made original product without Takara's intervention? Of course. But those weren't exactly the big movers and shakers of the company. Just recently, the segment that was put out by Mark Mayer from San Diego Comic-Con, go check out that segment when you get a chance on Hasbro Pulse's website, YouTube channel. It's with Marcelo, it's with Ken Christensen, Eric Siebeneller, and Mark Mayer, and you see how no matter what happens, Takara is always the crucial final part of that production. So that's something that you have to consider
Megatron
a lot.
must be stopped.
Rudy Mack with the YouTube member question: Are we into Transformers finance now? My favorite. Well, again, it's something that look. There was a lot of discussion online, and I hate to say it, but so many Transformer fans, when it comes to this part of the hobby, have no idea what they're talking about. And I just read those comments, and I'm just, on social media or message boards, I'm just quiet the whole time. I'm just like, man, okay, whatever. That's your opinion. I don't know where you came, what your background, came to that conclusion, but sure. But Doug Bowser has nothing to do with Transformers. It's not going to change anything. In the same way that, like I said, go look at the board of directors. It's public knowledge, and each one of those people, Google what they did in the past, and you will be surprised to see that none of those people have any kind of background or power that'll ever move that needle. Again, the former president of the WNBA, and when she was in charge, between $15 and $20 million were lost during her run. And now she's on the board of directors. So, those people don't move the needle at all. She's not deciding anything of value or importance. And Doug Bowser is being brought in for a totally different reason that has nothing to do with the robots in disguise. So I wouldn't worry too much about that at all. So that's kind of what I wanted to say about that one, because a lot of people were asking me to address it. I didn't even feel it was worth having a segment about it, because there's nothing that really relates to Transformers. It's just they once again brought in someone from another background that has nothing to do with our brand to do that kind of stuff.
Megatron
Ontario
must be
Swedish
stopped.
Chef has joined the
No matter
YouTube
cost.
membership. Thank you, Ontario Swedish Chef. And Bork to you too. The other thing that people wanted me to comment on was the recent trailer of the He-Man live action movie. Now, I'm going to say this outright. I don't think this is going to do anything for He-Man. I feel that at the end of the day, it's going to be an expensive movie that's going to cost a lot and will not make its money back and will put He-Man once again into a form of purgatory, in that He-Man is vastly approaching that line of, here's this line, and on this other side of this line is the Dick Tracys, the Flash Gordons, the Phantom. I could go on and on. The brands that just can't be brought into the modern age today and make money with the modern audience, no matter what you do. No matter what you do. And it's not that I hate Dick Tracy or He-Man. I'm not a big He-Man guy. I like Roboto. I keep him on my desk here. But and look, Robato's going to be in the movie, so I'm kind of intrigued by his toy that I'll get. But I just feel that, it's something where I don't think this movie is going to really move anything, in that we've seen a lot of other attempts with He-Man, good attempts. The 2K3 series, the Netflix series, and none of those did anything. The new cartoon, none of those did anything. No one cares about fuzzy underwear, muscular dude with big swords and sorcery. And on top of it all, they once again, and this is just my own personal opinion, they once again did a movie where, look, it's totally fine, in my opinion, to change the race of characters when a brand is strong enough to do that. Like, I had no problem with Kingpin being black in the Daredevil movie. He did a fantastic job. What was his name? Oh my God, he passed away. But he did a great job as the Kingpin. I thought he was fantastic. And it's something where I have no problem with that. But when you have a fragile brand where whatever fans you do have of it are over the age of 40, the last thing you're going to do is, you shouldn't put all that kind of stuff that's very divisive. That's going to make people now, those guys who would have been the only people buying the tickets, now they're not going to want to go. You know, Michael Clark, thank you, T-Formers. T-Formers, you're always good for that. I can literally go like, oh, what's the name of that thing? You're always good for that, T-Formers. But yeah, so it's like, so on top of that, like, I don't care about the pronouns thing, but I know that there's going to be a segment of the audience that is going to care about that. And you've lost them. And whenever you do these kind of things where it's like, okay, we're going to bring back He-Man and we're going to target the mass audience, but the first thing we're going to do is put out a trailer that's going to divide the audience, you just lost millions, and no joke, millions of ticket sales. Like, you have to target these kind of things. Like, I hate to bring it back to my stuff. When I wrote this book, the hardcore Mega Man fandom are like, oh, but you kind of wrote something that we're all very familiar with already. Why didn't you write something new? And I'm like, because you can't write for the hardcore people. You have to write for the masses because you're bringing them back. Just like how Mega Man X was this dormant brand for years. It's been like 20 years since the last Mega Man X game, if you don't count a mobile game, which I don't. So when you have that kind of distance that you've been gone for so long, you can't just go, oh, back to our regular schedule, guys. And it's the same thing. You can't tackle He-Man that way. That's a very bad business choice that they made. And sorry, I just want to make sure I don't miss any questions. And it's just something to me, like, I don't feel that they should have done that. They should have played it a lot more safe to the breast, stay true to source material, and just hope that people even show up. Because I'll tell you this right now, even being true to source material, I don't think people will show up. So now doing this, that's going to hurt it even more. And you don't need a guy like me in your, PR room and your focus group rooms to tell you that. That should have been something. If you guys are working for Mattel and you're at that high up the food chain that you went through all this college and marketing and stuff, you don't have an education then. You went to some stupid college that didn't have anything going on, and you literally were given a piece of paper, because that is literally business 101. And I have no degree in marketing, but I know how the world works and what sells and what doesn't. And it takes me 5 seconds and 2 eyeballs in one mouth to look and see what sells and what doesn't, and put 2 and 2 together. And most of you people could do the same too. And it's a shame, because He-Man is one of those brands that I'm like, let's see if it could, if it could find itself, if it could do it. And it's yet again another example of the wrong people holding the steering wheel and just driving it off the cliff because they don't know what they're doing. And that's it. And I sad to say, I think this movie is not going to do well. I think that it's going to make He-Man just go to sleep for a bit. And then they'll just do a whole bunch of reissues every 4 years just to keep the trademarks alive, and that'll be it. And that's that. That's that, more or less. That's it. It looks cool. I would like to go see it. I'm not really a movie person to begin with, so I got to be like really excited. But I'll check it out. But at the same time, I know what they did is going to hurt the bigger picture. And that's not smart, man. That's not smart. And you guys are like, and this is the Mattel people. You guys should know better than that. You really should. Like, you shouldn't have some doofus here in Montreal, who fixes cars for a living and writes comic books, tell you how to do something with a multi-billion-dollar company on a multi-million-dollar toy brand. But it is what it is. Draco Rex with $2 super chat. What other characters could we have seen in timelines? Are we talking Mega Man timelines? What are we talking here? Draco Rex, you could post again. I'm curious which timelines you were referring to. Then we got T-Formers 2002's question. First time ever hearing of this new He-Man movie. Yeah, well, they dropped like a teaser trailer 2 days ago. And again, if you watch it, there's a little bit of AI going on with it, which is also another, like, there you go, you're dividing audiences. It's like, oh, there's some AI stuff going on with the movie and the CG. So there's that kind of little bit of a divide. And then you got all the kind of social stuff and the casting stuff. There's another divide. In the same way that the Fantastic Four movie, people didn't show up because of social divides and silly things like that. You got to tread lightly with these multi-fragile $1 million IPs. If you're trying to build something, you can't do that. You can't, you know? It's not the days of before where you could just put out a Marvel movie of anything and people are going to show up in the millions. Those days are over. Those days are long over, you know? Long over. There's too much separation in the world today, too much divisiveness, and you have to create stuff that doesn't lean on any of those directions. Because the moment you do, you lose a huge segmentation of the audience. And that is some stupid shit. Let me just tell you to do that. You can't. The best part of the trailer was Skeletor. Unfortunately, he was played by Jared Leto. See, here's the thing. Like people have opinions of Jared Leto. I'm not an actor person. So unless this man, killed a bunch of dogs or something, which is an animal abuser. Like, it's something where it's like, what did he do that's so bad? Is there some kind of he's canceled now drama, or is he a bad actor? I don't know. I saw the Tron Ares movie. I was like, okay, whatever. It's not great, but it's not like it was terrible either. It was just kind of you know. So it's something where it's like, look, at the end of the day, it's something where you have to get people into the theaters regardless if your movie is even good. I'm pretty sure a lot of people weren't excited about Agent Smith playing Megatron in a Michael Bay movie, but there was enough people who were interested in seeing a Michael Bay movie. That's why Transformers 2007 did well. It had nothing to do with oh my God, we're going to lean in this direction or that direction, do this, that. They did it that it worked for the common denominator, that the mainstream audience came to see it, and then afterwards, we could get into the discussion of true to source material or this and that or anything. It is what it is. I could go rant on and on about this, but and again, I've said this before. There is not a person under the age of 40 that cares about He-Man. And if you're making a movie where right away out of the gate, your entire audience of 40 and under, a large population of who is your moviegoers, don't care, and the 40 and over people, they're just going to stay at home anyways. They're too tired. Their back hurts. I know mine is, so it's like, who is this for? And this goes back to Dick Tracy in the 90s. We're going to make a Dick Tracy movie. We're going to have Happy Meal promotions, PVCs and applause and Hallmark and blah, 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 blah. No one showed up. No one bought the toys. What a waste of time. What a waste of time. And because then, in the 90s, actually, my parents were in their 30s and they didn't care about Dick Tracy. To do a movie where it's no one in their 40s and below, come on. It's a little dicey. It's a little dicey. Look, next verse. I hope the movie's great too. I don't ever want to spend my time on something that is going to be a waste of time. You know what I mean? I remember a TFCon, I think it was TFCon Chicago that had just passed. Was it TFCon Chicago? I don't even know anymore. Everything is just a blur. TFCon Chicago that had just passed, they were playing the new Superman movie on television in my hotel room. And I was like, sure, why not? I had not seen it yet. I'm stuck in my hotel room anyways overnight before the next day. I'm going to watch it. And I was like, it's okay, I guess. I wouldn't have paid to go see it. Oh, Guy Gardner was kind of funny. But at the end of the day, when the movie ended, I was kind of like, meh. And it is what it was, So it's something, because you got to really convince, not just me, you got to really convince people with a trailer. That's what the whole point of the trailer is. You really got to get people excited. Because it doesn't matter if the movie is good. We're going to only find that out after the ticket sale has already been made. But if you can't even get people in, and you're dividing people, and you're doing silly little moves that are also going to make people go, I'll wait till it's on Netflix. I'll wait until it's on Paramount Plus or whatever streaming service will get it after the fact. And, physical media is dead pretty much more or less now. So it's not like we're going to wait for those great DVD sales. And it's shaped like the sword and it opens up and it has a 3-disc DVD set and it lights up and glows. And when you push a button, it goes, I have the power. Those days are long gone, of that great boutique physical media. So it's like, what am I saying? It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. And again, the wrong people that are making those decisions for these companies that have shareholders and stocks and all these things that should be important. It doesn't matter to us. We're going to buy the toys. We're just the toy collectors and the media consumers. But you'd think that those companies that really at the end of the day, they only care about their shareholders, you think they'd make these decisions better because at the end of the day, it's the shareholders that'll get hurt the most. And those brands, of course. But again, look, cringe. If you love the Superman movie, that's great. But for me, when you have movies like that are supposed to be a launching pad for something bigger, and that's what that new Superman movie was supposed to be. Same thing with the Fantastic Four movie. These movies were supposed to be launching pads. They were supposed to be something that's like, we're gonna create the next MCU, the next universe, the next string of movies. Bring people back to the movie theaters after we left the big V and hurt movie theaters permanently. Like it's gonna get nutty. Draco Rex with the $2 super chat, theories for Nexus Prime. I honestly can't talk about it, but you're going to be finding out very, very soon. Like very, very soon. Like very, very soon. That's all I can say about Nexus Prime. But I'm pretty sure I've seen some people talk about it that kind of figured it out a little bit. But you will be learning more about him very soon. San Diego has quite the slate of stuff that is going to be shown in person. So, Media Max, Proto Wire, the Legendary 7, so unavailable. They should have had them at some form at Hasbro Pulse all the time. They're always available in some shape or form. It's just that you're only looking at one form of branding. Just because you're not getting a Soundwave in a Studio Series line doesn't mean you're not getting a Soundwave in other places. And it's the same thing with any of the others. The only one being a Devastator, and even that is a Blockies or it's somewhere else. Legendary 7 always finds its place somewhere. You cannot say that you'll ever go a year without all 7 of those products appearing somewhere. It's just, you can't just go, oh, Legendary 7 Studio Series. That's something to maintain that presence when you have to factor in factory scheduling and the openings at the factories to make sure those products are constantly in rotation. That's a different story. But Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Grimlock, Megatron, Soundwave, Starscream, Devastator, everything I just listed, you're talking Missing Link, you're talking Earthspark, you're talking Tiny Turbo Changers, you're talking our 86 combiner for our year. I could go on and on. All of those characters are present in some shape or form across all the different segmentations of branding. So they are present. They're just maybe not present in the place you want them to be, but they are. Fonhard Digital, you don't actually own anything. Well, of course. Well, I mean, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but now there's talks now that they want it that you're in the future, you're not even going to, this is my laptop here that I have, our second screen as I always refer to it. They want it that in the future, you're going to buy a laptop or a computer and you won't even have an operating system or anything like that. You just log onto a server and that's how you'll use your computer. So that way you don't even own the physical computer. If you don't have the internet, your computer won't work, and that's freaking wild. But that's the world that we're living in, is that the less control that you have, the more control financially they have. I'm pretty sure something like toys, they'd love to get rid of because they can't take that away from you 40 years later. But anyway, it's all about profits. All about profits. Sounds like the death of the internet then. Well, I don't like that we have an internet that is becoming more and more reliant on AI. A new stupid thing was added to AI for YouTube that I hate. So when people leave comments on my videos, literally YouTube has an AI program that uses the algorithm to figure out a question for me without me actually having to reply to you. And they asked me if I wanted to activate that. And I said, hell no. It was like, hey, Proto Man, do you think that this will be the latest Transformer, whatever? And it literally creates a answer for me based on all the Google AI stuff that they could figure out, and then answers in my behalf. Are you out of your minds? You know? Are you out of your mind? Imagine someone asks a super controversial, like someone's going to ask, like, hey, Proto Man, what are your political leanings? And then it's going to use Google AI to figure out my political leanings and create an answer, even though I don't have political leanings at all. And then it's like, what is this madness? What is this madness? But again, it's a waste of energy. It's a waste of time. Now RAM prices, anyone who knows what's going on in the computer world, RAM prices are going through the roof just to power AI. We are in some dark times right now when it comes to certain parts of our lifestyle. Let's put it that way. A lot of stuff that's getting really, really stupid right now. And I always say just weather the storm and take care of yourself. That's the best way to tackle it. Don't dredge over it. But it is a shame of some of the stuff that's going on. TFCon Twins with the $2.79 Canadian super chat. Can't put down Amalgamus. He's so fun. Thanks, M&E. Well, he's amazing. It's to me it's some Diaclone mixing of pieces and parts. Gats Blocker, if you know who Gats Blocker is from Diaclone and Microman, gives me those vibes. Like if they ever do a repaint or a good partial where there's some new pieces on it of Amalgamus, you could do like some Shin Diaclone Gats Blocker love. Put a little little driver, use some of the Titan Master heads as little Diaclone drivers. That'll be some fun stuff. Real fun stuff. Because you have like already the opening head that you put the transformation cog. You can have that opening head and put a Diaclone driver instead. A lot of fun there. Thank you for the super chat. Event propagator companies are more focused on control and less about profits through making what people like. Well, again, if you control people, then you can control the profits. That's always how it is. If you could control what they own and then what they like and then what they consume, you also control the profits. There was this great marketing video I saw where all the Targets, and you could check this out, guys. This is for Americans that are listening. All the Targets now in the United States are going to be installing over 200 cameras in their stores, but not what you think for. So next time you go to Target, especially if you're in one of the more like busier states, look up and you're going to notice that there's hundreds of cameras now, and it's not for theft at all. Because now what they're doing is they want it that when you go into Target, they want to look at body language, they want to look at shopping mannerisms, they want to look at what aisles people go to, what people window shop at, and then using AI, figure that all out for data retrieval. To the point that now a Target store will not exist to sell product, but to be a data mining for greater use for online retail and figuring that stuff out. It's wild. It's wild. So next time you're in Target, look up, take a photo. You're going to see just a line of cameras, and it's not for what you think anymore. It's a whole different ball game. T-Formers, it's going to source old Twitter thread of YouTube Polished Views, if anyone remembers that. Hey man, like I said, there's this great image that's kicking around somewhere on Twitter of like all the big Transformer creators and trying to figure out their political views, and it's like, what's Proto Man? Can't figure out Proto Man. What's his deal? He has a family. He has heterosexual sex. He has 2 cats and family, and he's too positive. He's got to be alt-right conservative. It's like, what? It's like, what the hell's going on? Like, okay, if you want to put me in a box, I mean, that's silly, but all right. Shouldn't be putting people in boxes based on just my sexual preference. Media Max Proto, our current prices in line with 80s prices adjusted for inflation. I think G1 Starscream would be $46. Well, let me ask you this: was the products that we have today filled with tons of heavy metal die cast that were painted with? I mean, I wish I could just pull down Starscream right now, but you would be correct in terms of size, but in terms of material, that's where you would be incorrect. A G1 Starscream has tons of die cast on it. Tons. That whole red torso piece is one solid piece of die cast. Then you have the landing gears on both the feet and the landing gear that you would attach, all die cast. Then you're talking springs for the 2 null rays, die cast, whole bunch of stuff on sprues. You weigh that thing, forget about it. It could not be any more different than a modern product at all. Mark and Evan is Emily. Well, then they are very grateful. I know Evan's always, it's not Evan, Mark's always in the chat. So if you guys have any nice things to say to Mark, he's always listening and watching. So be sure to always say nice things about Mark. Mark, Marcelo, some of the marketing guys, they're always in the chat. Patrick Brown, I like to think Proto falls under the category of logical. It's not that it's logical. It's that I don't let everything that's going on in the world that I have no control over affect my mental mood. I have some friends on Facebook, and I'm not like from the South, but I swear it sums it up nice. It's like, bless your heart. It's like there's some people on Facebook, some of my friends, that all they post is just negative, ninny political stuff all day. And you can open up their Facebook page and you'll be like, oh my God, they've been posting every hour for the past 18 hours. That means that's all they've been doing. It's just, go for a walk, hang out with some friends, do something, help a bake sale, go to a flea market, do something, but don't make that your life. You're killing yourself. So it's just, that's nuts. That's nuts, guys. Just chill. And trust me, neither side cares about you. Fun fact. Some of the most dedicated people, though, that are like just make that stuff their lives, I firmly believe they're just bored. They're just bored. They don't have a legitimate passion. It's boredom. It's just something where they wake up in the morning and there's nothing to, like when I wake up in the morning, a Saturday or a Sunday, there is something to do. I say this all the time, like there is just not enough hours in a day. There really is not. Like I wish that I just had unlimited time every day. Like just to like get everything done and then go to bed. I don't want to be like immortal in that sense, but it's just like, can I just get everything done I need to get done today before I go to bed? There's just not enough time. I have to do the ultimate amount of time managing to get everything done. to be able to play a video game, to be able to write this comic book, to be able to work on this podcast, to be able to work on this other podcast, to be able to work on this other podcast, to be able to do this thing, to be able to do that thing. Write this bio, do this comic, do this. You have to do all this time managing. There's just not enough hours in a day. But then you have people that are ridiculously bored. They wake up in the morning, that first foot hits the ground, and it's like the first thing. You know what? I'm not even going to make my own breakfast. I'm going to eat slop. I'm going to eat something that you put in a microwave, and then I'm too lazy to do that instead of making some healthy eggs and some good butter and something. So they already got lazy with that. And then now they have, instead of taking the good 30 minutes to make a good breakfast, you did it all in 10 minutes. You shoveled it down, and now you're bored. And now you're like, what do I do now? Oh, here it comes. Here it comes. Screw this. Screw that. Here's my new thing I'm going to be angry about now. What are we going to be angry about today? What are we angry about today, guys? What is it today? What is it today? Screw that. Enjoy your life. Get a hobby. Get a hobby that's physical. Go play pickup basketball. Go hang out with a bunch of people that do marathon running. Go to a gym and just do that every morning. I'm telling you, it's gonna change your life, man. It's gonna change your life. It really will. It really will. Tom Laney could ask Mr. Archer if diecast would have been kept in alternators, how much the price increase would have that been? We actually talked about that. Go check out the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. We talked about Transformers alternators. We did a whole hour and a half segment about it, and we talked about why diecast was removed from the Western releases. Little plug there. Go check out Aaron's, and you'll still hear my stupid voice in it too, but you'll hear Aaron talk about it. Media Max, $5 super chat. I understand diecast is more expensive, but doesn't modern engineering and complex assembly balance out the cost? Yes and no. Here's the thing. The engineering is more complex on that side of things. But when you get to assembly and stuff, you just train the factory workers, and they didn't get increases in wages. Oh no, we got to pay people a comparable wage in China? Move it to Vietnam. That's it. That's the other stuff that changed too that we don't talk about. How about the fact that G1 Transformers were made in Japan, 84, 85, and then around 86, 87, China and Macau, especially during the Micromaster era of 88, 89, 90. And then afterwards, all the way China, Jetta Plastics, all those different companies. And then we got to 2015, boom, Vietnam, with the exception of Masterpiece. That was a slower burn. Masterpiece moved to Vietnam in, I think, 2017. But everything in Vietnam. And if Vietnam gets too expensive, wherever the next place will be. Wherever the next place will be. The balancing doesn't happen just on the engineering side. It doesn't happen on the plastic side. It doesn't happen on the material side. It doesn't happen on the costing side. It happens on multiple different planes of existence. That's how they balance everything. David Cabal, what's up, brother? Hi, did you like the Devil's Due Transformers G.I. Joe comic? I'll be honest with you. I liked the Devil's Due G.I. Joe comic more only because you were able to see those alternate designs. The Pat Lee Dreamwave book that was happening parallel at the same time. I don't have the trade paperback here. It's upstairs. So I have the new ones. Ugh. Reach for this before I drop everything. This bad boy right here, the omnibuses. This is the Devil's Due one. You can actually see those. Let me find a really good one with the covers. Covers, beautiful covers, beautiful art. You could actually see those designs. Where, no offense to Dreamwave, but they had very noir, dark kind of thing going on. Man, touch this thing in a million years. Jeez. But yeah. I liked it because, and it's a shame they never made toys of any of them because they were really, the irony is that all the Dreamwave ones ended up kind of getting the toy love. but not the Devil's Due ones. Now it's all not in canon, even the Devil's Due G.I. Joe comic. That all got retconned, unfortunately. Thank you for the super chat, David. I hope to see you at San Diego and LA very soon. Rudy Mack says LOL. Dang, I missed the opening again. It happens, man. That's what the replays are for. Is your big wheel made of diecast? Oh, that I don't know. I don't have a big wheel. Unless you're talking about my my Knight Rider pedal car, that had no diecast, but it did have lights and sounds. Then Propagator, made in Vietnam, but still gets China import tariff applied. Well, I mean, I don't know how that works. I don't know how that works. That's a whole other conversation. Vietnam was always paying tariff prices. It just wasn't the big tariff prices that were happening then. Every country was always paying tariffs. It wasn't as much as it was before. Brown says Devil's Due was great. Yeah, I like the Devil's Due stuff. They introduced some new characters too, which was cool. Yeah, always dig that. Always dig that. But yeah, this is the omnibus one that comes with like multiple versions, all the different versions and stuff, and all the talented people that worked on it. Robbie Musso, give him a shout out to him. Good old Robbie Musso, friend of the podcast, very talented artist, writer dude, working on his own stuff. He worked with a lot of the Devil's Due stuff back in the day. Good guy, Robbie. But yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, you know, you're going to have a lot of these companies that just they're gonna do their own thing. They're gonna push stuff in different directions, and people that are going to be reacting to it and applying political stuff with it, and then making that them upset. I've never understood. You have so many people that they make their lives obsessed with political stuff, but then they're holding smartphones that were made in countries that they also would disagree with that kind of stuff. There's a lot of weird irony going on with a lot of it. But I mean, again, it's just boredom. It's just boredom at the end of the day. That's why I don't take any of it seriously. I could look at one of those people straight in their face when they're complaining, and it's like, man, if you just had something to do today, you would have been doing that instead. If someone would have just called you and asked you to hang out, just, hey, man, let's go for breakfast. Let's just talk. Because too many times it's like, they're just hurting and bored inside. And it's sad. It really is. It's really sad. It is because we only get one life, We only get one effing life. And the last thing you want to do is just waste it on. You're going to waste every freaking weekend of your life on that kind of stuff. Like, that's what you're going to do to get hurt, to do stupid things, to stress yourself, to give yourself gray hairs. In this one life that you have, instead of doing what makes you happy. And if you can't answer that question, well, nothing makes you happy, then bro, you're gonna have a tough time, man. This life is not gonna be easy for you. Because I have this frame of mind because I grew up, we didn't have money, but we had family. That's all we had. We didn't have money. We didn't have toys. We didn't have video games. We didn't have all that stuff. If it wasn't for renting video games, I would have played nothing. Because I didn't get I had to wait. Like, my grandmother would take a trip once a year, and when she came back, I would get that one present, and that was it. And it would always have to be something like big, and it was like, if once I got my Nintendo, that was the center of my universe forever. But I had one game, Mario Duck Hunt. That was it. Mario Duck Hunt. And if it wasn't for renting, I'd be screwed, And every system I ever got was always 2 years after the rest of the world. And I kind of continued that tradition into adulthood because, it is what it is. I was like, I think part of the reason why I'm such a cheapskate, even as an adult now working on BMW cars and making good money, I'm still a cheapskate because I have that old DNA of not having money as a kid and still remembering that some stuff is expensive and you shouldn't be, spending money on that. But I feel way too often, it's just, you just got to play it safe, man. Just got to play it safe. Got a bunch of questions. Let's go tackle some of those. One moment. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. We got a gold super chat from the Twins. How you doing, Twins? Twins with the gold super chat for $27.99 Canadian. So for Americans that are keeping up, that's about $4. Mark, us TFCon twins, David and Christopher, hope you in the chat tonight hear this. Mark will definitely hear it for sure. Mark always listens and posts. We are so grateful for all the work you do and the crew that you've been doing since Kingdom. Oh, Mark's been around since before Kingdom. Mark has been around since Transformers Prime. So Mark's always been kicking. And can't wait to meet you one day. Don't stop. Well, Mark will be at San Diego Comic-Con for sure. Good old SDCC. Good old SDCC. He'll be there for sure. Cringe McCringle, if Mark from Hasbro is still in the chat, put in a request for Studio Series 2007 Swindle. Make it happen. He wants the Gamerverse toys. The good old red vehicle. Well, yeah, again, but so I grew up with no money, but we had family, and I think that was very important to my upbringing. We had a lot of social development. When you don't have toys, when you don't have cell phones to stare at and technologies to drown yourself in, and one television in the house that was in the living room, getting my own TV in my own bedroom came many years later when my grandmother retired her CRT, and then I finally got it, her old CRT. I remember getting an N64, and I couldn't even plug it in because our TVs in our house were so old that they didn't even have composite. That's how old my TVs were in my parents' house. I remember that being a problem. Oh God, because the old Atari, Nintendo, and Super Nintendo, you could still do the old hookup with the cable turn, if anyone knows what I'm talking about. But then N64 started with composite, and I was like, man, I'm screwed. Media Max Proto, what's the best case scenario and worst case scenario for Energon Universe animated project? Will it move the needle in pop culture? Best case scenario is people turn up because it's advertised properly that this is if they advertise it from the front end, from the creators of Walking Dead and Invincible, Robert Kirkman, if they really lean into the other stuff that normies are watching in large numbers, and by normies I mean the non-Transformer fans that still make up the buying power audience, then that could be the best case scenario. Now again, how they're going to handle it and do that stuff, that's a whole other conversation. I can't confirm and or deny any of that. Screen accurate, comic accurate, what are they going to do? Worst case scenario, like I said, they do stupid stuff that divides, that they do a trailer that divides the population, that makes everyone start taking sides and stupidity. Sure, do that and ruin a brand. That's the worst case scenario. Which I wouldn't be surprised because one of their artists did that, and that's silly of you to do, Daniel Warren Johnson. Don't do stuff. Again, I'm not a political person. So, I don't care, but what you did right there just divides fandoms. Again, you just divide fandoms. Don't do that stuff because you're creating fighting. And yeah, there's going to be a group of F you, Proto Man. This is my political beliefs, and if you don't believe in it, then you're the enemy too. Okay, bro. Fine. I'm Canadian. I don't care. Okay? Hockey, poutine, maple syrup, and a fry on the side. That's my life. Okay? I ain't waving no flag. I don't care about any of that stuff otherwise. But I do care about dividing people and making people fighting. Canada's not a war kind of country. We don't fight. Guns aren't exactly the thing. We just want to enjoy life. And when I see people fighting over trivial stuff, or people who are supposed to be the responsible ones now creating divides, that's not good. That's not good, man. That's not good. You know, that's not some good stuff. It's your job in this situation to not do that kind of thing. You're going to lose your job doing stuff like that. Because I know some of the guys at Hasbro, and people got fired over stuff like that. So that's really risky what you're doing there. That's really risky. Lag Y, I'm very behind on the stream, but the target camera data sounds straight out of new Westworld show. I don't watch. I don't know what Westworld is, but it's a reality because that's the new thing that they're rolling out now for targets. So it's unfortunate truth. We got Brown here saying, "Why is it so cold in Ontario?" Oh, it's cold here too, brother. It's cold here too. It is freezing in this basement. That's why I'm wearing this and then this. And I got the heating up there blowing down on me. It is cold here too. It is cold here too. Vent Propagator, do you know why most people get married? Can't blame everything on the government. I mean, look, that's a social thing, you know? Find someone that makes you happy, that you feel that you could fight this war that is life together, you know? You don't marry someone because that you find them attractive and they smell pretty and that's enough. You also have to make sure that you're with someone that is willing to fight those wars with you, that is the rest of the world. That she won't side with her friends over you, because her friends aren't the ones that she's going to be spending her life with. Her friends aren't the ones that are going to be paying bills with her. Her friends aren't the ones that are going to be fighting those wars with you. And by those wars, meaning any of the crazy stuff that life throws at you. That's the most important thing. My mother gave me a great piece of advice many years ago. She said, before you get married, move in with that person and live with them for 2 years. Why? Because then you could see all the social responsibilities that they would be doing or not doing if you lived with them. If you get married and then you move in with them, you find that shit out the hard way. And then it's divorce. And then you really messed up. But if you move in with them before that, you could find that stuff out. If it doesn't work out, you go your separate ways. No harm, no foul. Oh, my cats are not here. I told you guys. The cats, like Butters just got out of here. None of the cats have been on the stream the past couple of weeks because it's so cold down here. They're upstairs in the kitchen next to the vents where it's nice and warm. They're happy. Yeah. They're happy. You just landed in Toronto after spending a week in Jamaica. Well, there's a whiplash. Someone was watching Cool Runnings. If anyone gets that reference with John Candy. But you just have to like find the right person for that. And look, you don't rush into it. You find the right person for you. You find a person who's going to understand your beliefs in life, your goals, your dreams, your ambitions, and just do that, man. Just do that. And I understand, like, I have a lot of friends that are having difficulty meeting women, and it's a different world today and stuff. But the women that you want to meet, you're not going to find online anyways. This goes back to what I said. Get out of the house. Go to parties. Go to places. Meet up with people. The other women that are willing to go out and meet people in a physical environment are the women that you want to talk to anyways. Not the ones that are just sitting on a dating app while 70 guys message her and then you have to be the one that sticks out. You don't want to be in that situation. You don't. You still have Cool Runnings on VHS. Beautiful. My wife keeps telling her friends to ditch their husbands. Well, just a bit of a hot take. Women rarely give good advice to their friends when it comes to relationships because they only know a small fragmentation of what's going on. They only see it from the outside looking in. That's something where it's like, never be with someone where their friends are going to be the gatekeepers of your success. Meaning there's nothing that you do personally with her one-on-one that's going to determine the success of the relationship. It's going to be what their friends deem of you. Then you're going to be screwed from day one, you know? It sounds crazy, but like you have to be with someone that once you two become extremely serious and get married and move out and stuff, that you each other become each other's entire lives. Where she's not even really hanging out with her friends anymore. Yeah, she'll hang out with her friends once in a while, but really it's about you and her. And again, goals and ambitions, dreams, tackling everything the world does. You know, I got a great partner in crime. Let's put it that way. You know, to be able to do this, you got to have someone that understands the madness. You know, but she wasn't my first girlfriend, my second girlfriend, my third girlfriend, my fourth girlfriend, my fifth girlfriend. Met a lot of other women before I came to that final conclusion and decided to put a ring on it legitimately. You know? My wife currently has a back door open, feeding stray cats, and it's 0 degrees outside. Oh man, those poor cats. Probably freezing. My cats, they want to go out. I open the door. The cold air hits them, and they go nope, and they go right back. Found my girlfriend at work. Well, there you go. It has to be an in-person environment. Don't use an app. I get it. You might live somewhere that might be very low trafficy, you know, Midwest, small little town or something, but you're better off going to a party or something, having those opportunities to meet somebody in person and have those conversations. Like, you're not going to be able to convey how great of a person you are through text. There's no tone, there's no sarcasm, there's no humor. You know, how a person reads text is very different than how it's, you know, purported to you. Like, come on. Media Mac with the $5 question. Oh, no, wait, hold on. Missed that one. David Cabal with the question, sorry. I saw Simon Furman's Astrobots. Is it any good? I have not seen it yet. I know that was Simon's original project that he was working on. It's a shame they're not giving Simon more professional gigs for Transformers. But again, there's only so many, so many spaces in the cockpit, so to speak. But I have not read it yet or seen it, unfortunately, so I cannot give an opinion. But I like Simon. I like Simon's work. I don't like everything he's done, but a lot of the stuff that he's done, I've enjoyed quite a bit. His highs are very high, so let's put it that way. You know, he's done some really good stuff. And we wouldn't have the original 13 without Mr. Furman. You know, he kind of was like he kind of gave birth to that in a lot of ways, and then Aaron Archer kind of fleshed it out afterwards. James, I've been with my wife now since 2008. Met her through a friend while playing World of Warcraft. Well, there you go. Fantastic. I met my wife at a party. Like literally here. You want some Proto Man lore? It was 2005 going into 2006 New Year's. And literally, Jaws D. I was going to hang out with Jaws D because we're best buddies and we always hang out all the time. And I was going to hang out with him for whatever reason. He was going to be, I think, hanging out with like friends of family or whatever for that New Year's. And I was like, okay, whatever. And usually my parents would throw like a big New Year's party and stuff, and they were out. So like it was going to be a boring ass New Year's. Like I was just like, okay, I have no, I'm not going to be hanging out with friends really. My parents are out, so they're not going to be throwing something. And so I was just kind of like, okay, so what are some of my other friends doing? And so one of my friends, I'm not going to say his name just for his own privacy, but people always look on Facebook. One of my friends was like, hey, like we're just going to get a bunch of guys. We're going to gather together. We're going to get Chinese food, and we're just going to play Smash Brothers. And I was like, could be worse. And so I agreed to that. And then the moment that I said that I was going to be hanging out with that friend told another girl, and that girl was like, oh, Daniel's going to be there. And so she also like kind of latched onto that party and then invited all of her friends, bunch of females, and you could tell where that went from there. So now I show up to this party. Here I am thinking I'm bringing Chinese food and I'm going to be playing Smash Brothers. To now the DDR mats are out. This is when the Wii was out, so it gives you an idea too. The Wii and the GameCube. It was the GameCube was out at the time. So it's like, oh, Smash Brothers Melee. You got the Super Mario DDR mat for the DDR Super Mario. There's the girls playing. There's other girls. There's girls drinking. There's girls that are not drinking. There's girls that are eating the food that was brought, because everyone brought food. It was just a house party for New Year's. There was my wife that I met for the first time, although supposedly I met her indirectly in college, because again, all these people knew each other. And we started talking. Oh, we have the same interests. Oh, that's cool. Oh, you like that? Oh, okay, that's cool. And hey, we'll trade MSN, Microsoft Messenger. We'll trade MSN. And then we all hung out. We got to know each other, and the rest is history. You get to know someone. You go out to eat. You get to know them more. Oh, we have the same interests. Hey, do you like this? Oh, do you like that? That's what unites you. That's what unites you. If you have similar interests and goals, and that you keep moving in that same direction of those interests and goals. You can't just be like, I don't want to. Someone that some of you may know in the chat here. He got married to a girl because they both liked the same singular TV show. And it wasn't like a big property. It was just like, oh, we both really liked that show, and that's why we got married. No joke. And then when that show ended, that was kind of the end of their relationship. Then they never hung out, and then they slowly drifted apart, and then they got divorced. And I meant, wow, like that entire TV show was the entire foundation of their relationship. So you got to have a little more than that, got to have a little more than that. So Swedish says he enjoyed the Astrobots, but that's just it. So there's a one answer. But it's something where you got to find, and again, having a significant other is another one of those things that I see a lot of the people that are stressed out today in the world. They don't have someone else in their life, because also having someone else in their life kind of usually cures that boredom. Usually, not always. Sometimes it could also be an instigator of some of that crazy activity. But that's a whole other conversation. Cringe McCringle, the whole reason I got interested in my girlfriend was because I saw she had a Linkin Park tattoo. Well, there's an opening. Oh, where'd you get that tattoo? If you enjoy Linkin Park, there's that conversation. So it's like you have to have like those connections. That helps a lot. And if you're one of those individuals that feel like they're not good at talking to people and they're not good at communicating, then just get better at it. And how do you get better at it? Just hang out with people. I have a friend. I don't want to say his name. You've probably heard his name sometimes on the podcast. Friend of me and Jaws D. Super, like when we met him in high school, super antisocial, super dorky guy. Didn't have any friends. Literally was the quiet kid who had no friends. But then he started hanging out with us and picked up on those social vibes. Me and Jaws D, we talk. Jaws D talks and I talk. We're both blah, 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 blah. And when you're around that all the time, it's going to rub off, whether you like it or not. And so he leveled up his sociability just by being around us all the time over a span of 20 years. And next thing you know, he's doing his own thing. He's social. He's independent. He's hanging out with women. He's doing his thing. But like anything in life, you get better at it. But you're not going to get better at it if you don't put yourself in those environments. Your muscles ain't going to grow unless you go to the gym, So going to the gym, in this case, socially, is hanging out with people. Hanging out with social people, Tom Laney, I saw earlier today, the new G2 Sideswipe figure. How do they keep making third-party figures that look exactly like the Hasbro toys? Because it's the Wild West in China, and you can't go into China and really start arresting people unless the Chinese government agrees to do it also. If they don't feel they're losing money, then they have no incentive to go in there and fight it. So that's the long, short answer to that one. When you hear about sometimes those third-party companies getting shut down by the police in China, it's because something directly from Hasbro China got affected and their money got screwed. So that's usually how that goes down, you know? So if there's no incentive to go fight the good fight, they won't, you know? They won't. Linkin Park is both our favorite bands. Well, there you go. There you go. And you know what? Music is a really important one too. Whenever I take long trips with her, and it works, and I mean long trips. I mean we drove from Montreal to Philly, and that probably took 6, 7 hours, maybe 8 hours. You know, because we were obviously taking our time, stopping here and there. Oh, let's check that out. Let's check this out. But we have very similar interest in music. So when we play that music, we're singing music together on these long trips. You need a partner in crime. You need the Batman to your Robin. You need someone who is like that. You know, not just something that's just like a showpiece. It's a little more than that. You know, and that gives you such a greater perspective. You know, so the people that are the most angry in life, that are the most unhappy, that are the ones out there that are just so stressed out, a lot of them just don't have any of that positive emotions going on for them, and they're bored. And again, it goes back to, I think that boredom is the bigger epidemic in a lot of ways. Just get a hobby. Get a hobby, man. Get a hobby. Collect Smurf dolls. I don't care. Just do something. Do something that's of a positive nature. Because I'm going to sound like a broken record, but you got one life. You got one effing life. Are you going to spend 0 to 50 complaining when that's when you have all your energy and your back doesn't hurt yet and it doesn't hurt to walk and everything? You're going to spend 0 to 50 complaining and doing all of that? And then when finally you've realized you've wasted your time and you messed up, then you're going to spend your 60s to 70s to when you, to be real, some people pass away at 80. You're going to spend those last 30 years doing what? You know, come on. Don't waste it. Tom Laney, how do sellers sell those figures through online? What are we talking about here? We're talking about third party? I don't know what the question was. Victory, in the end, it doesn't really matter. In the end, it doesn't really matter. I guess that's what it is. You got to have, what was David saying here? I've been watching MTV's Downtown. Love the nerd references. Downtown and and the other two. What was the other two? Crap. Downtown, Undergrads, and Mission Hill. Those are the Triforce of MTV exclusive shows that all have that similar vibe. Check those ones out too. Undergrads is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Such a product of 2002. It effing hurts, and I love it. Prequel, episode 1, Star Wars movies, and oh God, to go back to that, I would. And the character Cal is one of our friends in real life. Like, it just reminds us of one of our friends. Well, bro, if you're gonna go, like, see, I'm just gonna comment, passport bros. Look, if you're gonna go to another country to find a wife, you've kind of missed a little bit of what I was trying to say. In that, look, you might find a wife in those other countries, but are you socially on the same level? Are you both having the same goals and ambitions and dreams that you want to fight the world together? You know, you got to be careful with that, because some people might have different goals and ambitions when it comes to that marriage. You know, if you could find that in another country, that's great, but make sure that that those things are taken care of. You know, because hate to say it, but someone who's going to understand you more, usually with goals, dreams, ambitions, and hopes, will probably be somewhere where you were born. I could be wrong. You might find the girl of your dreams in Europe or any other country, but you never know. Y2K is the new retro. Well, it's 25 years old now. I mean, when you think about it, when Beast Wars was on television and people were calling G1 the retro toy line, Beast Wars was 1995, 96, 97, 98, 99. G1 was barely 10 to 15 years old. Now Y2K, just 2000, Armada is 20 years old. Energon is 20 years old. Cybertron is 20 years old. So stuff that's even older than G1 was during Beast Wars is retro. Why? Because time is too fast. Time is passing by. Everything's passing quickly. We're getting old. We're getting old. We're getting old. You got to enjoy it. Got to enjoy it. Every day of my life, I'm always just trying to figure out how to just have a good time, how to just enjoy life, do something. And it's for me, it's doing creative stuff. That's what it is for me. Like to me, it's always like podcast segments, comic books, creativity, education, of knowledge of stuff. Those are like the most important things for me. Because I feel if I like wake up in the morning and I don't do something creative the whole day, like I just woke up, watched YouTube, played video games, ate, and then went to bed, I feel like I wasted the day. If I do a podcast segment, and then the moment that podcast segment's done and it's out there, and the post and ghost, as I like to call it, when it's out there, if I don't do anything else the rest of the day, I feel accomplished. If I write a comic book script and then send it off to Udon or Capcom, I feel accomplished. Like I'm done. I feel great. Like I feel like now the gears are turning and all the good stuff is happening. Like that's always been my frame of mind, you know? Like I will hang out with friends. Like no joke, like I give an example. Like went to hang out with the guys with the Gundam model kit crew, you know, hung out with them, but then went home, worked on a podcast segment, looked into some stuff for Mega Man comics for the future because we're always planning scripts way in advance, 6 months in advance, planning stuff, have meetings, talk with people, all of that done in one day. Hang out with people, talk about model kits, talk the business, get a gift from my friends, hang out with my friends, come home, do something creative, build that life for yourself. Now, to you, it might be overwhelming. Oh my God, that's so many things. But I'm also like in my soon to be mid 40s. So I've already lived this busy life that created all of these building block pieces for those to exist. Some of you guys are in your 20s or in your 30s. Plenty of time to set up the rest of that whole future of stuff that might be like that also. The last night is retro. Well, if you think about it from the Beast Wars perspective to G1, then the last night is retro. The last night is as old to Transformers as G1 was to Beast Wars when it came out. That's wild. That's wild. It gets easier the longer you do it. Yeah, of course. Of course, whenever the more you do in life, it's the more experience you get. The more things that you've done, the mistakes, can't stress them. You've made more mistakes, which is great. Make mistakes. Look, I'm with a great woman now, but you don't think I made mistakes with a whole bunch of other women leading up to that? So we all need to make those mistakes. We all need to have those lonely nights that we messed up. We all need to all of that stuff. But you only get to there from those mistakes. T-Formers 2002 wants to know what's for dinner. Well, we already ate. We bought 2 cheap steaks. Well, you're going to see a normal pattern sometimes. I mean, usually our red meat steak day, like we'll always buy like steak that's going to expire if we don't buy it. We buy that. I made my steak I put some butter in it with some garlic. Let that do its thing. Freshly crushed peppercorn pepper. Just kind of, medium rare. I had it with sweet potato on the side and broccoli that I bought from Costco. And that's it. That was my supper. And I would like to. I have. We bought some pita chips. Like literally, they're like the most simplest made pita chips. Like they're literally just took pita and then they dehydrated it and then they just put just a little bit of kosher salt on it just so it's not completely boring. So I have pita chips and I have it with a organic cream cheese. that I kind of use as a dipping sauce. It's a little expensive, the organic cream cheese, but it's pretty good. No beef with broccoli? Oh, I wish. I wish. I wish. That's my go-to. Maybe on my birthday, I'll go have some beef and broccoli Chinese. I love beef and broccoli. That's like, I tell you that, I think I said this before on the podcast. That's like my final meal, you know? Like, people who are on death row, like they get their final meal. It'll be beef with Canadian broccoli or regular American broccoli with fried noodles, with a steam rice, orange beef on the side. Ugh, love it. So good. I missed a super chat. What was the super chat? Which super chat did I miss? Which super chat did I miss? Draco Rex super chat? Hold on. Draco Rex super chat. David Cabal super chat. Twins. David Cabal. Media Max. Twins. Twins again. Draco Rex. He only asked the timelines thing. That was it. He asked the timelines question. That was his super chat. Kind of answered it because there's not much I could talk about when it comes to Nexus Prime publicly. You know? Bayverse hitting its 20th next year, so it's officially vintage territory. Yeah, man, that's time flies. Oh, Dracorex, my original question was, would Hasbro use the characters in Transformers timelines if his theme's better? Sorry for the repeating question, Jack. Well, what do you see again? The questions from Hasbro timelines. Are we talking the BotCon characters from the timelines comic books? I worked on those. Hasbro has the rights to them. It's all just a matter of if they want to use them, if they fit in for characters. I mean, if you're talking the timeline stuff, there's a lot of stuff that's been done. There's been UK characters in 2009. There was the Shattered Glass stuff, which we had a whole line of in 2008. We had sweeps. We have sweeps now, but back then there were sweeps army builder packs. You could go forward to Seeker sets and more Shattered Glass and oh, hey, here's Reflector as a set, A lot of that stuff ended up getting modern versions of it. So when you say timelines, and keep in mind, when you say timelines, I'm assuming that's what you're referring to. Because BotCon timelines was what they referred to all their box sets and their comics that came with it and their bios. Proto Missing Link Unicron when? Mediamax, I wish that was the next one. That's the one I want. It's not the one that makes sense, but it's the one I want. Just because I want that for the display here. I want good old I always bust out the Bin Studios one. I want this to be a reality. You know what I mean? Dun, 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 dun. It could happen. This is their 3D printed one that they did. Yeah, it could happen. Cringe McCringle. Oh my god, we're already past 2 hours. So does this mean near complete Bayverse collection in the modern equivalent near G1 collection? I mean, let's be real. Unless you're talking all the Bayverse toy exclusive characters, then no. I mean, I don't know where Dropbox and some of the other more deeper cuts. Blue Steel Sideswipe. Waiting on that one. Blue Steel Sideswipe. The Wheelie. That was a repaint. And then it was there was a Wheelie first, and then it was repainted into Nightbeat 7. There's all the weird ones. I don't think they'll ever get to those. Those are too deep a cut. Swedish, when do you think they'll revisit Shattered Glass? I don't know, because the sad thing is that the old Shattered Glass, the last Shattered Glass set that they didn't do very well from what I heard. And not only didn't do very well, they then tried to just revisit it a little bit. They did Magic the Gathering cards with Shattered Glass versions, and those were supposed to be the rare cards. And that also wasn't well received. So I don't know. And it's a shame because I don't hate Shattered Glass, but it is something that's a hard series to like build around because now you're inverting the public expectations of what Transformers is known for. So it's like if you did, if you did Pokemon, and now instead of it being always from the perspective of the protagonist, the Ash or whatever, the whole show is going to be from the protagonist, from the side of Team Rocket, and then they're portrayed as good guys the whole time. It's a little bit of a bold move. Fine for like a one shot or a little movie or something, but to make a whole brand of it, that's always a tough one. And that's why Shattered Glass. It's fun. It's fun for a con exclusive, a little web exclusive line, a short comic book, a Walmart exclusive, like 6-figure line or something. And by 6-figure, I mean 6 figurines, not $1 million. You know. Does Pat Lee come to TFCon? No, he doesn't. Pat Lee is still in China. So Pat Lee was at TFCon. Last TFCon Pat Lee was at was TFCon 2004. And then the last time he was in Montreal here was 2002? 2002. That's how I met him the first time. He drew me some nice art. Pat was a nice guy. He was a nice dude. I'll never take that away from him. Very nice guy. Oh, you like Hot Rod? Drew me a beautiful Hot Rod bust. Signed my Hot Rod comic. Talked about how great Energon was going to be and how it's better than Armada. Arguable. but he was cool, But he has his controversies. I'll give him that. But he was always good to me. The 2-packs that are called timelines. Oh, that could be anything. The 2-packs that are timelines, that could be anything. That could be 2 GoBot homages. That could be 2 characters from Transformers Prime. That is an open slate. It is whatever trademarks need to be done that time and the openings that are available. Hey, we need to use Mirage and we need to use Cliffjumper and Mirage. So we're going to do a Trader Accusation 2-pack, Generation 1, Season 2 episode. And we're going to take, Mirage and just do a repaint. And this one is like, it's whatever it needs to be, timelines. Timelines is extremely flexible from the Hasbro Pulse standpoint. Fawn Heart, partially because they were rare and hard, expensive to get MTG cards. Well, the foils were extremely rare. The regular versions weren't too hard. They weren't too hard to get because I tried to collect them all without going bankrupt, but I never got them all because the foil versions of the Shattered Glass cards go for hundreds of dollars, if not more. And I am not in no mood to spend hundreds of dollars for a piece of cardboard when I am hesitant to buy really cool Transformer toys for $40 that are not just pieces of cardboard, but a little more. So I hope that answers that a little bit. And I think we are done because we are past the 2-hour mark. I apologize if I didn't get to every question and super chat. I think we got everything, though, more or less. Thank you for all the super chats that we got from everybody. Media Max and David Cabal and the twins. And anyone else if I'm missing them. I hope the weather isn't too crazy for you guys right now. I know there's been a bit of a polar vortex going on in the northern United States and southern Canada and everything. I know I'm part of it. I know that tomorrow I'm going to have to start even though I don't really intend to do anything tomorrow, I'm literally going to go out there to start my car just to like warm it up and get it active, get that oil moving so it doesn't turn into molasses, maybe drive it around a bit afterwards, and just clean up my driveway because it's going to be a rough night. It is going to reach as low. Let's do this in real time together. Tomorrow, let's see what Montreal is going to be tomorrow. Just so people could go like, oh my God, let's see what Montreal is going to be tomorrow. So right now, as we speak right now, mind you, I have to change it for my Americans. But so in Celsius, it is right now in Montreal, 21, feels like 28. Oh, geez, what happened there? Warning, polar vortex. Oh, no. What happened here? There we go. So 21 feels like 28. And then overnight, this is where it's going to get rough. Oh my goodness. It's going to reach at 6 a.m. It's going to reach like 28, 29, 27. Feels like 30. Ugh. You could die. You could die. But then when summer will come, then we're back. Then we're back, baby. Then we're back for another 3 months and then back into the nightmare again. So yeah, so I'll tackle that tomorrow. Right now, I'll just finish up. Ninjatron, you come now at the end of it? What's going on? How you doing, Dylan? Um, you know, I'm going to finish up tonight, go upstairs, maybe nibble on a little thing here and there. We'll go play some Nintendo Switch and call it quits, and then tomorrow we'll tackle the cold and make sure the old car is feeling good. But it is what it is. Anyways, guys, thank you for all the love and support. Thank you for tuning in today. Good crew of people. Again, take care of yourselves, man. Take care of yourselves. Don't let the negativity in this world going on, all the drama. It's always drama every day. Don't let that stuff get to you. Just enjoy life, guys. Just enjoy life. Don't look at the phone. If you're opening the phone, it's because you're researching somewhere to go to that cool place. Use the phone as a scion of knowledge. Don't use it as here's the news today and what to be angry about, and here's the drama today. Just enjoy life. Get out there, have fun, go play some cards, go play some video games with friends, go out to eat with some friends and sit down and enjoy life, and make sure those friends also aren't negative ninnies and bringing that negativity into your life. Just chill. Go learn a language, go learn a hobby, go learn to play an instrument, go learn to draw, go learn to read, whatever it is. Go out there and have a good time. Ninjatron, just to let you know, I wanted to get tickets to Saturday Night Main Event and SmackDown. Do you know where they started at here in Montreal? $800 a ticket. I went to the Montreal Screwjob. I have to find my tickets and show people. I went to the Montreal Screwjob, Bret Hart pay-per-view. It was $15. I was in the white section, which is like not the nosebleeds, but not right really close, just in the middle. I was in the white seats. $15, 1997. The worst seat in the house at SmackDown in Montreal was $800. What are you doing, WWE? What are you doing? That's crazy. I'll watch it on TV, thank you. Even though we had, Matt Cardona wearing a Montreal Canadiens jersey, respect. Regardless, not going to get into wrestling. Thank you, everyone. Take care of yourselves. All the love and support. Again, come join us on Patreon. Get access to the Discord. We can continue hanging out there. That's where everyone else comes and hangs out. Get your name in the end credit scroll. The Discord is awesome. Come check that out. But otherwise, I am out of here. Take care of yourself. And as always, roll out.
Wow.